here. All right, we're on. Yeah. Is it 111?
14 plus 114.
Oh, sorry, I think you had 100.
14. Okay, I'm on page 116. But we're looking for a potential husband. Now, these are all basic principles. Gleb should be here, and so should. But Edward can't. He's working this morning, so these kids won't be here. But anyway, the basic principles are necessary. Let's start with Bill. Go ahead to number 1.
Okay, when looking for a potential husband, look for a man who possesses leadership ability, someone who wants to lead his family and be an example of serving instead of just being lazy and letting the wife make the important decisions.
Which is usually what happens. I don't like the reality that men are lazy, because it is something that was not the case through most of history, but we've become lazy. Guys have become it's too easy, just sit and let the wife do basically everything as far as leadership. The man has no idea how to be a leader because he never learned. Geraldine, number 2.
A man who works very hard to make sure that he can save and manage money and thus financially provide for his family. 1 Timothy 5:8. First Timothy 5:8. So, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Yes. Now it's not that he can't provide if he chooses not to. Then he's actually denying what it means to be a Christian, which is to work hard. And one of the greatest characteristics of a man is not that he has a job, not that he can go fishing or whatever, but that he can work hard, because everything in life is work. So number 3 and 1.
Okay.
Or 3 and 8.
The Bible asks, A, is he good father material? Look at Colossians and Ephesians. So Colossians first. Colossians 3. Colossians 3, 19 to 21. Colossians 3, 19 to 21 reads, Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. 21. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged.
Right, so there's a dad there who is he's loving his wife, he's watching his own attitude, and he has a home where children obey, but he doesn't provoke his children to wrath. So there's a balance there. Do you see that? It's one thing to make someone to obey. It's another one to make it so you're just making everybody angry at you. So there's a great, perfect balance there. Is he good father material, or is he just a boss? You got another scripture.
And then we'll look at Ephesians 6. Ephesians 6, verses 1 and 2. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
Okay, now wouldn't you like to have, it's one thing to honor your parents, and we all have to honor our parents whether they deserve it or not, but wouldn't you like to have had parents who you loved to honor? And that's what a father should, if you're getting ready to get married, you look at a man and you go, I want my children to honor this man. I want my children to look up to him. So make sure you're looking for somebody they will look up to. So, all right, and go ahead, number 1, Bethany.
Look at his own father for insights as to how he will handle frustration, anger, fear, etc.
Is that a good indicator? Can you tell about your future husband by his dad? You think that's valid?
Yeah. I think many times.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but I would definitely look and see what kind of home life did he grow up in. Was that dad a drunkard?
Yeah.
Was that? Now, it's not that will ruin your prospective husband, but it sure does indicate, I wonder if he knows how to be a dad.
Of
See,
course, not all of us get a chance to get to know our future father-in-law.
this is true, but if you could,
Yeah.
okay? Keep going. Go ahead and do number 2 as well.
Does the young man's father trust his own wife, love her? Ephesians 5:21-25. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Amen.
Wouldn't it be nice to find a prospective husband who has a great role model at home? That's the goal. Keep going.
Nurture and care for her, Proverbs 31:11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
What's spoil?
Ruin.
No need of ruin?
Being spoiled by
Well, we
someone.
have, there's multiple meanings for the word spoil. You ever hear of the spoils of war? What is that?
When somebody takes your stuff.
Spoils of war is the riches of war, which is you go to war and then you take, after you defeat the enemy, you take from them the spoils of war. You take all of their wealth. And so a husband doesn't need to always come home with more money. Doesn't always have to come home with more things to make her happy.
Okay.
He has no need of spoil to, oh, honey, I hope you're happy. Honey, I hope you're happy. No. He trusts that she's always going to be faithful, loving him, and he's at rest. Okay. So that's very important to understand. Sometimes spoil has a good meaning.
Granting her honor as an equal heir, 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
Honor her as an equal. Go ahead.
Understanding her and being gentle with her, 1 Peter 3:7.
Where is the understanding and being gentle in there?
Giving honor as unto the weaker vessel.
Now, is she always weaker?
No.
No. Sometimes she's got great strengths. And so, but the man to honor means lets her go first, protects her, defends her, works harder so that she doesn't have to be under stress. And so that's how, you're looking for, has that ever influenced my future prospect husband? Does he even know what it means to honor a woman and honor his wife? And you get that usually from your home life. You don't get that from Hollywood, do you? You're not going to learn how to be a good husband from Hollywood.
But you can get that from the church.
And you should. And we're all proof that you don't have to come up from a perfect home. But Christianity is generational. So as we do things, it's so the next generation does it better and actually has things, because we are the exceptions. I have watched thousands of people come to church, get saved, even get baptized, get discipled, and fall away. And and not all of them got saved, not all of them got discipled, but I've seen it happen. And it's like, that's not what's supposed to happen in Christianity. Christianity is supposed to grow and reach the next generation and expand. But people just don't think that it matters. They don't think that Sunday matters. I'm looking this morning, I'm walking around the house at 6 a.m. and I'm going, does anybody else care that it's Sunday? Now I know it's 6 a.m., so nobody's going to care that it's Sunday at that moment. But my heart just goes out. This is the first day of the week. And whether it feels like a rest day, it is the first day, belongs to the Lord. And it is so important that people grow up with that environment. Go ahead, do 3 and B there. Declan.
A3, is it?
Yes, sir.
The way the young man's father treats his mother is likely the same way he will treat you or your daughter.
Mm-hmm. And then B.
Is he a one-woman man? 1 Timothy 3:2. First Timothy 3:2. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach.
Now, why would a bishop, pastor, why would somebody who's the leader of the church need to be a one-woman man? Is it just so to keep him out of trouble?
He needs to be an example to...
Bingo. So that all the men are one-woman men. Okay? And I had a thought there. Yeah, entanglements. Do you know how many current marriages are surprised by finding out, oh, you have a son? You know, they didn't tell them that they had a previous relationship, or they find out that when they were getting married that somebody else was pregnant. Can you imagine having that starting your marriage, finding out that your new wife actually was pregnant, but not by you, on and on. But that's what the world has to deal with, not a Christian. We should not have to deal with that. But it happens. I'm just telling you, you want to marry somebody who has, either gotten right and it's all cleared up, or they've stayed pure. And that is hard. Let's do C there. Gina Lynn.
Is he sensible? Titus 2:6. Titus 2:6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Sober-minded. What do you think that means?
Sober-minded city.
What is sober-minded, Tiro? Help her out.
Think of it, sober is the opposite for being drunk. But
to
when
be
you're
awake.
sober-minded is clear and...
But he's thoughtful.
Yeah.
So when you're driving, you should be sober.
Yeah.
You should be aware of what's going on. And you want a young man who's not just flittering along whatever's fun, but he's thinking, he's planning. He's got a purpose and a plan for his life. Let him be sensible. That's the key. What do we got here?
And does he possess the general godly character qualities of an elder/mature Christian? 1 Timothy 3:1-7. This is a true saying, if a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach in the snare of the devil.
Now those are all, now it talks about a bishop there, but this is actually the qualifications of a mature Christian, an elder, somebody who you would trust to lead a church. And how can he lead a church if he doesn't know how to lead his family? So he's an example of leading his home. Okay, keep going.
If not, then no matter how friendly, charming, or attractive, look somewhere else.
Yes. Those are hard words to say because most girls, I'm going to be honest, I've never understood women, so don't think that I understand them. But most women are desperate. And when they meet a guy who winks at them, they're all in.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Number D and 1. Tiro.
In the same way, potential wives should be submissive in spirit. Ephesians 5:21-22. Submitting yourself.
Hold on, why do you always do that? I don't think you ever pay attention. You're just looking forward to the faster way.
Like a racehorse.
He is.
Out of the trap.
But I know where the books are in the Bible.
Yeah, so do we all. But we're reading our discipleships.
We have to turn the pages.
Anyway, go ahead.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
Now, that's an attitude that you have. And that is, wow, potential wives should be submissive in spirit. Go ahead.
And respectful in their attitude and demeanor. Most women are extremely assertive because of the training of the feminists.
Oh yeah, they have been. You don't cross a modern woman. Number 2, Bill.
Where are we?
Number D and little and 2.
Sensible, looking forward to working at home, kind, loving their husbands and children. Titus 2:3-5. The age women likewise, that they be in behaviour as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste keepers at home, good, obedient to their husbands, that the word of God may not be blasphemed. So,
Yeah,
is that,
that's it.
yeah, okay.
That was fine. You know, those verses are some of the clearest scriptures ever.
It's like
Older women supposed to teach the younger
describing
women?
My grandmother. It's like they describe my grandmother. I wish my mother had been like that, but my grandmother was
Yeah.
perfect.
And even, you know, you make a good point that not everything works out. You do your best and somebody goes wayward. I understand all that. But wow, if you're going to look for a wife, look for somebody who is looking forward to being at home, who has a spirit of kindness and loving their husbands, in future loving their children. You look for that. I remember when Nita and I were recording and we started talking about children. And so she asked, how many children do you want? I said, 8 will be enough. Now, I said that because there was a show called 8 is Enough at that time, a sitcom and stuff, and we laughed, and she said, you serious? I said, no, but I have no idea. But it was a terrifying subject to talk about, but at least she wanted children, and so we talked about it. But boy, talking about stuff, and where there's just a right spirit there. Number 3.
Okay, they are able to do good to their husbands because they are industrious, charitable, skilled in their work, well-dressed, modestly so, good managers of resources, and of course, they must fear God. So, 1 Timothy 2:9-10. So, 1 Timothy 2:9-10. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. That's 9 and 10. So then 1 Peter 3. Peter 3, whose adorning, let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting of the hair and of wearing of gold and or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. And then we're on to Proverbs, then 31, 22, 30. Proverbs 22. 22 and 30, isn't it?
Correct.
So, yeah. So the first Proverbs 31:22 is she makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple.
Hold it for a second. Does she wear rags? Does she feel like I'm not pretty and I don't want to look pretty? Or, I mean, tapestry in those days, I mean, we think of tapestries, we kind of think of rugs and stuff and thick curtains. But what do you think how does she see herself? How does she want to adorn herself?
Well, it's not about attractively, but it's about in an honourable way.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with wearing silk and purple, which was very expensive. Purple is, I mean, if I understand how they made purple, it came out of oyster shells and special shells. It was a ton of work to make a proper color of purple.
Right.
And to wear that was something very expensive. She didn't mind putting on something that was expensive because she wanted to look nice. So some Christians go, I don't want to draw any attention to myself. I understand that. But there's nothing wrong, especially if you're married, and to actually look well, look nice, be pretty. And she makes herself, and she made it herself. I mean, what woman works behind a sewing machine anymore? But she makes coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. But the most important part is verse 30.
30 then. Favour is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
Yeah, not that she can dress well, and not that she has money. And listen, the Proverbs 31 woman is an amazing, balanced woman. She owns land, she buys and sells, she has kids, and she has servants. And but what she's praised about is the fact that she loves and fears God. It's amazing. All right, Thomas, number 4.
Number 4, if a woman lacks the qualities necessary for any of these before marriage, there is no way of knowing if she will ever develop them afterwards. Therefore, parents ought to make it a point to examine potential mates according to objective biblical criteria. If they don't meet the qualifications, then no matter how attractive they are not suitable for marriage.
Now, what I found is this is a story about a guy who falls in love with a girl, a young lady, and she's boisterous, she's loud, I don't know what at all. He's probably going to marry her in this day and age, but shouldn't a parent speak up and be able to say, I don't think she's right for you? So that's being involved, and most people are afraid to be involved. And it is, I guarantee you, it is hard being a parent and trying to, because you feel like you're interfering. You feel like you're going to upset them, and you will. But the whole role of this is the biblical pattern. Let me just tell you, it's not what I want you to have. It's what God has defined is going to be the best for you, and I want the best. That's obvious. So having the right approach to your children and having involvement, especially when they know what to be looking for, that helps. All right, number 13.
Keep the right distance. 1 Corinthians 7, 1-5. Now concerning the things where you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto her husband.
Now hold, I have heard many people try to say that benevolence is money. You render unto her the checkbook. I've actually heard that. You go, have you read the next verse? Go ahead.
The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife.
How dangerous is that? That's so if you're going to marry somebody, you better make sure that you're willing to surrender to, they own you now. Verse 5.
Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
Okay, so marriage is about coming together, being one physically, and but before you get married, keep your distance. Genesis 2:24.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Yes, that's when you become one flesh. All right, go ahead and do A.
If all the other issues are dealt with, then this issue will be easy. If the heart is not submissive to God's way, then no amount of warnings and walls will stop two people from committing fornication.
Be there. Declan.
There is a right amount of distance that must be maintained between two unmarried people. Proverbs 6:27 to 29. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth in to his neighbour's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent.
See, the word touch, I think it's good for not to touch a woman because it always leads to beyond reason. Go ahead.
No touching. Touching, clinging, cleaving to each other is for when married. Period.
Excellent. Yeah, okay. Number C there. Gina Lynn.
If you start to violate this principle, no amount of determination and repenting will stop you from God's judgment. Hebrews 13:4. Hebrews 13:4. Marriage is honorable in all, in the bed undefiled, but
Whoremongers?
whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Wow. Okay. So marriage is great. It's when you're taking it, if you're acting married and you're not married. Go to, just for a cross reference, if you write down 1 Timothy 5 and 1, 2, and 3. Or just 1 and 2.
1 Timothy 5.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I want to show you how to treat a woman who's not your wife.
1 Timothy 5, 1 and 2. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren.
Okay, hold. This is when you're dealing with somebody and maybe you need to confront them about a personal issue. And you have to rebuke them, or you have to correct them, or you have to just talk to them straight up. So don't talk to them. Don't rebuke an elder, but entreat him. Talk to him like he's your dad, like he's a father. Okay. Treat younger men as like they're your brothers. Now watch this.
Verse 2. The elder women as mothers, and the younger as sisters with all purity.
You know, I never wanted to kiss my sister. I'm sorry, I don't know how. And whenever we were around each other, we were family. We were brother and sister. And so if you would just have the habit of treating other young ladies, other young men as brothers and sisters, that's the distance that you keep. And this is a good principle there. All right, conclusion, number 14 there, T-row.
Conclusion.
A.
Parents must teach and nurture these truths into their young children.
And B.
Young men and women need to evaluate just how much they are willing to wait until marriage, and to let God prepare them for this most important of all life's treasure, a family.
And it really is. People want a girlfriend, but that's not the goal. The goal is a family. If we had that idea, Bill, you'll do C, and that'll be the end here.
Fruit of living godly is eternal. The pleasure of sin are only for a season. Hebrews 11, 24, 25. By faith Moses, when he was come out 2 years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy pleasures of sin for a season.
Do you think it was very pleasurable? Was it pleasant? Was it fun being a ruler in Egypt in Moses' day?
Well, not for him anyway. but-
Well, no. Remember, before he actually left Egypt, do you think he had great pleasure being part of Pharaoh's family?
Yeah, obviously.
And he chose to walk away from it because he knew this would only last for a little while. And that's how somebody's got to look at future relationships. All right, we have to stop there.